Welcome to the Northern Touch Show. I'm your host, Tom, aka Director Awesome, joined by Thrust OG and DJ Despair. And today we are joined by special guest Kwame Damon Mason, who is an actor and a writer of a documentary, Soul on Ice. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know about the actor thing, man. I tried that for a minute, you know. And,
hey, you still got a credit to acting, right? You still got the credit.
I wish I held on, man. I wish I held on because I look at cats like Anthony Mackie and Maz and like that. I'm like, yo, that's my generation.
Yeah.
When I was trying to, if I had stuck to it, I remember I used to go to this acting school, Sears and Switzer, who Maestro and Michi ended up going to after. And I remember the teacher, Teresa, she was just like, you're really good, but you can't do it from here. You got to go. And I never had the guts. I didn't have the guts. I'm honest.
It's funny you said
to go to
even
like
me too.
LA
I could have done that. People have said about me too in my speech and my voice. You got that dramatic. But the funny thing about me is I never wanted to like be that dude like with the lines, man. I'm not that dude with the lines.
I was scared. I know.
Rehearsing the lines. I got to sit, do it, and then be doing an MC and doing all this other stuff. I said, I don't know if it's me, man.
It's the same thing, like MC, and you got to remember your lyrics, right?
But it's different when it's in a rhythm.
It's
right. Really, like rhyming's different, man.
That's the same.
It depends on your creative process too. My creative process is different. So, but for everybody's different, man. Depends on like people who are really writing off the pen. I think they're like me. I'm like on a J Biggie kind of like. It comes right in the studio and then I feel it in. I don't really even write that much really. And then if I do write, it's very quick and it's very like I do it in the moment I record it. So for me, it's no moment to really, I don't really memorize. When you hear Thrust lyrics, it's not memorized. It's very on the spot, my whole catalog, just so you know. That's why I did the Chosen Ones. Even Grand, I wrote Grand in 3 minutes, man. I wrote it, but 3 minutes.
Word.
That whole album was called The Chosen. So it depends on your process. It's like how people write. Other people, they like, write or they punch in a lot, and everyone has a different thing in the craft, man.
But same with this, right? With podcasting, like anything that's scripted, I can't do it. I sound scripted. I even if I want to memorize it, I'll sound scripted. But I can do this all day long. I can sit here and I can talk. I can have a conversation. I can go on video and do this all day long. So it's a lot different.
When I do my show, when I do like the Soul Nice podcast. I write, besides, I write all my stuff, but I think that's maybe because of my radio background. I'm able to I can write something and I can spit it to you and you think I'm just spitting it to you, but I'm literally reading what I'm writing. I try to show like my boys, Akil Thomas and Elijah, who are my co-hosts. I try to show them that technique because right there, you know exactly what you're going to say. And how to say it. It's just, it's just, I think it goes back to the whole acting training too. It's like delivering lines and.
It's definitely important. And it's a place, especially when you're doing, like when I see like Tim and Friends, Tim and Sid, all that, but you got to have your bullets, your points, something to keep you streamlined, right? Especially when you're dealing with time and commercials and things are coming in, like you got to get the points through. You know what I mean? Get your points crossed.
So that's the thing. Like I'll write point form. Like I'll jot down a couple of notes what I want to touch on, but like I'll elaborate on it just from the top of my head, and I'll keep going with it from there.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Yeah, man. I think we all agree. Just the way you kind of attack it in a sense.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be professional. You know what I'm saying? So speaking professional, what's going? I know the spirit professional. Look, you got to look at all the
professional, man. I just get up, I vision it, and I do it. It's just,
dude, you're the digital king, man. I tell you, this guy sees all the promos, the 3D, everything jumping off the page, the cooking show. Kwame Mason, you know how much shows this dude has, man? How many shows you got? How many TV shows you got together? If you can remember.
Weekly with this, I have 5 shows in process, 2 not airing right now, and the rest is airing.
Like on internet or broadcasting? Yeah. Oh, yep. For real?
I have one on Friday nights. I have another one before that. Then I have 2 radio podcasts. And I'm not like they're kind of like a mini podcast type thing where I'm critiquing records on Fridays. Tomorrow night, it'll be Thursday here. Whatever. We'll put that in there. We're going to be interviewing
at the time of recording.
At the time, in the month of April, in the final weeks, I'm interviewing 8 Ball and MJG tomorrow. and we're going back and critiquing their music.
I'm about to do Kenan Thompson.
Oh man,
that's
sick. Crazy. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I'm gonna double to tear up your whole podcast. Yeah, I know you're there. It's like I get into them. I have to really focus on them when I go. So I have my 3 or 4 I go into, and then I go in the zone, and I just delve right in, man. So you went on the checklist. But for the show, we had you. Last time I had you bookmarked way back. I said one of the first people, even Despair though. I said, yo, Kwame coming on, man. And I said, Kwame gonna respond. I go, everybody else gonna be a little thing. I go, watch when I link up my homie. It's gonna be bam. You see, Kwame? Yeah. See how we did it?
I don't,
we from the true school. That's why we know. Okay, so let's get this popping.
Yeah, let's get into the Soul on Ice. Let's get to Soul on Ice and the documentary. I guess how did that come about? Getting to start that up, and when you're doing that, how are you getting into actually getting funding for that? Is this like a federal thing? Is it a provincial thing? How does that all come about?
So I got into doing this because like I was living in Edmonton when I was working at a radio station out there, and I'd be around a lot of those Edmonton Oilers, and I just really liked their vibe, man. They were a lot different than being around like the NBA guys. The NBA guys, when you go to a club, they're in the VIP spot. It's like you can't even talk to them or something like that. But these NHL players are just like, yo, you want a beer? You want a drink? Let's hang out, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And so I love their vibe. And then seeing George Laraque so popular in Edmonton, I was like, I thought to myself, I was like, man, like he's like, at the end of the day, I mean, I know that's his boys and stuff like that, but like, man, I wonder what that's like to always be around like nobody that looks like you,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so just going into like online and looking at history, I just, I learned about the Colored Hockey League of the Maritimes, and that kind of tripped me out because, I was in my late 30s at that time.
It's funny you said that because he is a person, I always looked at him too. And being a brother, same Tyler from Toronto, loving hockey, you always wondered, man, like just to be that role and be that alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could kind of relate to when I did Soul Decision. I toured the States and I was with the pop, but it was still Canadian, like West Coast music dudes, and I was surrounded by like Destiny's Child and brothers every day. So I still was around my culture. Like my culture outnumbered everything that the perception was on the outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for him, just being alone, like it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
You must still. Did you guys form a friendship too from that?
Yeah, we had a radio. I had a radio show and he was on it, so I knew him throughout. So I consider him a friend to this day. You know what I mean? And good.
You have an open channel, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just that kind of was the thing that made me want to make the film. Just seeing these guys and just wondering about their history, and I knew that there was a long-standing history of Black athletes that a lot of people just did not know, and I knew that the game was changing. I saw where we are at today in hockey. I saw that back in like 206, 207. I've been saw that, and I knew that the game was here. I knew that something was going to happen because there's too many young guys that were coming up that were on fire. Wayne Simmons, PK Subban, Jerome McGinley. Like all these guys were just. I'm just like, okay, there's a shift happening, and with them, there's gonna be more young guys going. And I know once you start to see more of them, and the way social media and how entertainment was going, I was like, it's going to come up, and somebody's going to bring up the issues that happen or who was the first. And I knew that was going to happen. So I was like, yo, no one ain't doing it. Let me go and do it. And then to go back to your other question, Tom, about funding, man, what's homeboy's name who made that movie, Hollywood Shuffle? What's homeboy's name? Black comedian.
Oh, Hollywood Shuffle. Oh my God.
He did.
Oh man.
He did.
Oh man. Oh my God. I can see the face too, man. I'm not even playing when I say that. It's okay. We'll come back to us. The director of Hollywood Shuffle. Go ahead.
So homeboy made Hollywood Shuffle on the strength of his own money. Like he spent a lot of his own money to make that movie. I can't believe he's an OG. Somebody please look that up. But he's an OG, and I remember he had a story about having to spend his own money to make his film because he wasn't getting funding from nobody. And then one of my favorite directors is Robert Rodriguez. He did like but you know, I know him from like Desperado and El Mariachi and all that. And he, with his first film, which was El Mariachi, did the same, like self-funded. And I was, you know, I didn't have no directorial credits, so nobody was giving me no money for to make any of this. So I had a condo. Despair, you got it?
Robert Townsend.
Yeah. Robert Townsend.
That's why I can see his face, man.
Yeah, Robert Townsend.
Yeah,
so
Robert
I was
Townsend,
inspired by him and Robert Rodriguez in the sense, like, once I realized that we weren't getting no grants or no funding for it, I was like, yo, man, I got this condo in Edmonton. Let me just sell that. I'll go back to Toronto, caught up under my pops, who had a house. It was just him alone. My mom had just passed. So I was like,
but that's why you came back, man.
Yeah.
You know, I always wonder, you know, you say when you came back, I saw you came back. Remember, I
took that money.
Yeah. We used to connect because I was always in Calgary. So we always had to connect with him out there. Yeah. But I was like, why did he come back? I know you were good out there. When I see him on Cal, I was like, yo, Kwame is good. Yeah. But I said he's back for a reason. I said, you can see in your eyes, like you're back for a purpose. I said, well, he's on the path for something. We'll see. That's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah. So
you made that move.
That's, you know, I mean, I didn't get grants or any funding until the final hour when we were down to where we were about to start editing. We had applied for this grant from TELUS, and they gave us some money, and that helped us finish the film. But for the first 2.5 years, for the most part, that was like either self-funding or I did like an Indiegogo. You know, people donated about like an $8,000, helped me, you know, and then my goddaughter's mom, she fronted me some money that I could buy a camera so we could go and shoot some stuff. So yeah, man, it was just a grind, bro.
At what point did the NHL, you know, the Bettmans, the commission, like when did all that kind of unfold and you getting in the mix? And the two-part question, and what happened when the NHL really had that, like, what was it with the coach? Remember the coach in that big remark, and it got real crazy. Like that was NHL really had to make a turn with all this.
Yeah.
Is that when you were touring at that time? Was it?
No, that was just a little while ago, and they let it, you know, he left. That was just a little while ago. That's just like a.
They never brought you in for anything like
that. Never like really, I mean, to me, I was like,
been a cool time.
No, this was way. I've been in the mix with them. This is just recent news, but. Getting involved, like the NHL didn't really get involved until the film was out. You know, like when I dropped it in 2015, you know, Grant Fuhrer was there in Edmonton. He came and watched the film with the audience there, and it won Audience Choice for Best Documentary Film at the Edmonton Film Festival. And so with press and stuff like that, you know, in the hockey world, it was bubbling. And then it got to Gary Bettman. He asked to watch it. Once he watched it, he was just like, "Bong, this is, you know what I mean? Let's mess with the homie." I'm sure he didn't say it like that, but he was just like.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's interesting because you see it all polished, you see it running, but I know it's this process, and it's interesting to know because some people's perception may. The reason I'm saying it like that is some people's perception may be like, "Oh well, you know, it was easy for Kwame to do it, man. He went from the radio and then he got with the NHL and then they worked together and they put this film together and they went out." You know, I want people to hear like the whole, like, you know what I'm saying? The creative process, right?
Yeah.
To know that, like, you put in that legwork, you put in the legwork.
Myself, Michael Douglas, who done some videos for you. You know, we had to just grind. It was just grind putting together. But once it was done, I knew that I could take my knowledge of being in like in the mix, like in the urban industry, radio, the hip hop scene. All I thought about was, okay, how would I market? How would I promote a hip hop album? I looked at it like that. I'm like, I'm promoting a hip hop album. I got to do some street. I got to do some radio. I got to do some. I got to do whatever. You know what I mean? I just had that mindset. And I just approached it like that. And I had the I was like, with an album, let me go tour the film. I'll go to different cities, show the film, have Q&As after, and that kind of worked, man. And that just got that buzz going. And then because I had such a really good, respectful relationship with the NHL, especially at that time, I was almost like the de facto voice for discussing blacks in hockey. Now you got so many other people talking about it, but back then, and when I say back then, I'm not talking like 10, 15 years. I'm just talking about a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
so, you know what I mean?
But so much has changed since. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like I want people like you could say it, but it's cool. It's like you pioneered. I think through your work and your dedication, you pioneered something that's really awesome, man. It was like a catalyst for change. There's a real catalyst for change. I can't put it no other way. It's gonna and over time, it's really gonna really see like 10 years from now, we're gonna look back at it and be like, holy smokes, man. You know what I mean? It's one of those things over time, it's gonna be even more important. And more people are gonna see the value, the real value, right? Any questions to Despair, man? You hockey dude. What's up, man? You got nothing to say? Ain't no questions about the film, anything, Despair?
I was happy.
Tom got me, man. Tom, what's up?
I'm just glad to see somebody actually doing something in the industry, especially like you never expected someone to like turn around and go, okay, yo, a black man's doing a film about hockey. We didn't even look at it that way. It was just like, yo, my dog's doing a film about hockey. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right. It was just and to see where you came from, because I've seen what you've done in Calgary. I've been around stuff. I've heard you on the radio. You broke a lot of people in the game and made people noticed out there. So you already had a power within yourself. So
I appreciate
that off was just a respect, because you showed a lot of us that there is other entrepreneurs. Like I looked up to you and accent certain.
Yeah, it's inspiring, man, because we always take certain channels and avenues, and it's like, okay, you know what I mean? I could do that. Someone could do tennis now,
but you didn't sell.
Someone could do food now. Someone could do something in sports now. We all start from this thing called hip hop, but it gives us the tools to go anywhere, right? So, and like you said,
do a part two now, especially with the league the way it is now.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm hoping to do, is be able to do a part two down the road and just kind of, take some of the kids that I had.
You should do a TV series. You should do the Uncle Snoop thing.
Oh, yeah. I know. There's like I got a few things that we're trying to put together and stuff like that. But man, it's just COVID just kind of really put a bite on things, So we're gonna see, man. Like all I know is right now I'm in a good position where the NHL they're cool with me and cool with my contributions to the evolution of this game, and I'm just trying to get in where I fit in, and then we'll see what's what.
Yep, just cultivate the relationships. We know how to do it, and then when something makes sense, at least you can go and make that approach, and they'll listen. And that's the hardest part, just to get through that door and know that, hey man, when I call, I got these people's attention, and they're gonna look over, you know what I mean, what it is I'm trying to put on the table. So. You know what I mean? More props to you, bro. We all proud of that one, man. That was like, yeah. Okay with that one, man. So anything else you want to get into? What's going on, man? It's the final countdown, man. Before we go too,
Tom been itching this.
Why are you blocking Tom, dog?
I don't know. Tom's sitting there. I don't know.
I want to know. I want to know what it was like to be able to sit with all of those legend hockey players and the new up and coming hockey players. Just looking at like Herb Carnegie, sitting and talking with him almost brings a tear to your eye. Like, you find out that he passed away just after the filming of it. And it was just like a pleasure to watch you interview those guys. It was just awesome. But like, what was it like for you to be able to do that?
I think it was like, okay, so it was wicked, you know what I mean? But yeah, at the same time, I'm like, I was so, not say stressed about making the film. I was just like, I just got to make sure I keep my focus. I got to make sure I get what I need, and the fun will come after. Sometimes it's like, you gotta just I'd say being unprofessional, but you got to be like, yo, okay, it's Grant Fuhrer, just settle down, man. Just get the questions out, boom, get that done, make sure it's all good, and then the fun will come after, and that was like, being around Grant and Tony and all these guys was like, you kind of, as a hockey fan, you're like, oh, this is pretty dope. Leo Reed's house, and like, now for me now it's just like, oh, okay, like I do sit back and think about it. I'm like, yo, this has been a really dope ride, but at the time of it, it was just like, and not even to sound, it's not even about cocky and stuff like that, but being in radio, television, and interviewing for like the past 20 years, I've been across from people who I've always admired, you know what I mean, in music, from Jay-Z down Eminem, Beyonce. Like I've
tried everything,
I've interviewed so many of those people. So I think I'm at a point where I can still admire them, but still be professional and then appreciate it after, and just be like, boom, that was another dope interview. That was another dope.
Well, I think that's the key to getting a dope interview, anyways, because the people get that energy from you.
Yeah,
that you're like one of them dudes too that's been around. Like, how to like just hang and like fall back. You get it, and you respect. Like, you understand their schedule. That the life is so scheduled. Like most people don't understand that. So I think a lot of times people, like artists and people on those kind of levels, they want to spend extra time. They'd love to, but in 40 minutes they got to do this, in 20 minutes they got to do this, in 15 minutes they got to eat this snack. And it's like they got this thing. So when you come like that, I find they remember you. For one, they always remember you because you're one of 1,000, and two, you get like the best interview, or you get the best out of them. People come back like, wow, you got that out of them. You'll find, how'd you get that out of him? He's never like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's, especially with what we're doing with the film, a lot of the stuff that we were talking about, they never really got to talk about, or they never got to talk about in the way that I was kind of kicking it to them. So yeah, man, I think it was a great avenue, great process. And it's allowed me to, have some different avenues. Like, for example, now, if you want, you could check out our podcast. It's called Soul on Ice, the podcast, and it has Akil Thomas on there with me and Elijah Roberts for the most part. And, if you're a hockey fan, we've had people from Gary Bettman to Georges Larac to, about to drop one with Luc Robitaille coming up, and Kenan Thompson from SNL is going to come on there. We're going to talk some Mighty Ducks, and yeah, man. And yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and if anybody else wants to just check out what we're doing, Soul on Ice, the movie is our social media tags, and Soul on Ice, the podcast. So yeah, we in here, man. We trying.
I got to hit up Akil Thomas. His mom, I got this weird thing happen with his mom. His mom doesn't know me. His mom went to school with my brother, went to Northern. And believe it or not, I can't even go into the whole story, but she know what I'm talking. I got to tell her since you said the name. She called me like 4 years ago. And somebody just wakes up and they say they have this dream about you. She's like, I don't know you. I know you through music. I know your brother. But she's like, I had this crazy dream about you. And she told me, she said, you're going to be in this place doing certain things. And this is one of them. Oh, isn't it crazy? This is like 4 years ago, man.
Yeah.
This is on some Graham McKay. I woke up in the morning, I had this thing. She goes, I'm never wrong with my dreams. And then when I saw her son do what she did for the juniors, it's crazy. Like, we have this cool relationship, man. And it's funny you just brought the name. I had to throw that story in because she'd be like, Thrust, you right there, man. You didn't mention that. But yeah, big up to that, man. I'm so proud of her and her family and everything, man. It's great to see. You know what I'm saying? Well, Quams, we love what you're doing, man.
Thank you, brother.
You're always welcome here. Like I'm saying, man, anything you're doing, man, we'll come back. We'll get at you again. Any new project, anything you want to do. Thanks for your time. I know it's very limited. Blessings to your family. You know what I'm saying? It's a little man. It's little man, right?
Little man's crying right now. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's bugging out. So I'm gonna go.
No, I couldn't hear, but I had a vibe. See, it's a Scorpio vibe. I just knew it. See, little man. It's a little man. It's little man time. I knew it, and I gotta go do my daughter. Tom got the family. The Spirit got a show probably to do, and like you got so much shows. So
yeah,
you know what it is. You know the touch show. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Director Austin,
thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it very much. This was the Northern Touch Show. We were with Kwame Damon Mason. Check him out on social media. Check out Soul on Ice, the movie, Soul on Ice, the podcast. You won't be disappointed with any of that. So check him out. And thanks a lot for coming on.
All right. Thanks, Bice. You guys keep it 100, right?
All right.
You my man. Dig.